Our next presenter for today in the workshop is Darcy Everett with Bluegrass Pride. We're pleased to have you with us, and Darcy's going to address programs Bluegrass Pride has that we can take advantage of and cover a couple of environmental concerns like lead-based paint,
radon, and litter.
Okay, so with that, Darcy,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, good morning, everyone. As Shelby said, I'm Darcy, and I'm with Bluegrass Pride. I'm a program manager for Pride, and I manage a program called the Live Green Lexington program, and we work with apartments and businesses here in Lexington to help them start or expand recycling programs, to help them with water quality issues, as well as become more energy efficient. But today, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Bluegrass Pride and some resources that you guys can take advantage of. Talk a little bit about litter, lead paint, and radon as well. So first of all, Bluegrass Pride, we are an environmental nonprofit in central Kentucky, and we serve 18 counties surrounding Fayette County. And we work with schools and, again, apartments and businesses in these counties. My job is mainly focused here in Fayette, but we have a lot of educators that go out and work in the schools in some of those other counties. But our main mission is to help provide resources to central Kentucky to allow people to become more environmentally friendly. So some ways that you can get involved with Bluegrass Pride. First off, you can visit our website, which is bgpride.org, and we've got lots of resources on there related to recycling. We've got lots of stuff about water quality, so we've got information about rain barrels, rain gardens. Also, energy efficiency is something new that we've started working on, so we've got information about how to schedule home energy audits, information about how to make your home more energy efficient, things like that. Native plants, again, relating back to rain gardens, and then also litter. So we've got a lot of resources on our website to use. We've also got lots of volunteer opportunities if you guys are ever interested in getting involved that way. We do lots of cleanups in central Kentucky. We also are always looking for volunteers for events like Reforest the Bluegrass, where you come out and plant trees around a stream in the Lexington area. And we've also started a new program called Caulk the Block, where we go into housing or apartments for people that have low income or need help with their electricity bills. We bring volunteers in and we caulk windows, add weather stripping, things like that to help improve, to make their homes more efficient so they have smaller bills during the cold months. So those are some ways you can volunteer with us. And if you're interested, that's the website to get on our volunteer listserv. We've also got resources that people can come and check out for free. We've got energy audit kits, and in those kits there's things like kilowatt meters, which is this guy right here. And you plug that into an outlet, and then you could plug in your microwave, you could plug in, your stereo system, whatever, and see how many watts that's using all the time. So you can kind of see how much energy your house is using and things that maybe you should keep unplugged if you're not using them all the time. It's got a laser thermometer in there, so you can test the temperature of your walls, things like that. Our water use kits, we've got sprinkler gauges in there, so you can test. They normally recommend to water your yard up to 3 inches of water. So we've got a little gauge where you turn on your sprinkler, and when that gauge fills up to 3 inches, you know to turn it off. So you're not overwatering your lawn and wasting water through that process. And we've also got things like a toilet. You can test and see if your toilet has a silent leak in it. It's a little tablet. You put it in your the back of your toilet. You wait 30 minutes, and if the color, it's like a dye tablet. If the color has soaked into the bowl of your toilet, you know you've got a leak, and that's wasting water as well. And then the coolest thing we have is a thermal imaging camera, which is something like this, where you can actually use it and take pictures inside your house, and it'll show you the temperature difference. So it's really cool, and we do ask for that if you want to use that. It's a $30 deposit. If you bring it back unharmed, then you get that deposit back. We've got paint crystals, which I brought here today. I've got a couple more in my bag. So if you have some old latex paint and you don't have enough of it, you don't think it's worth taking it over to Habitat, you can use the paint hardener and then put that in your Herbie. So we've got some of those if you guys are interested. Then we've also got trash bags and gloves. If you all ever do organize a cleanup or anything like that, we've got bags and gloves that we can donate to you all at no cost, and you can use those. And someone brought up in the last session, we also have litter grabbers. So if you're working with kids or something, you could give them those so they're not touching stuff with their hands. So that brings us into litter, which I'm going to talk a little bit about. Obviously, litter is paper or waste material that's thrown out of your car. You know, people just throw their cigarette butts down, things like that. It is a Class A misdemeanor in Kentucky if you are caught littering, and it can be up to a $500 fine as well if a police officer catches you. The most littered item in the world is obviously cigarette butts, and most people, I think, don't understand that cigarette butts don't biodegrade immediately, but they actually have plastic in the filter of the cigarette butts, so they don't biodegrade. So that's why cigarette butts are such a problem. In 1999, the solid waste coordinators did a study, and they looked through all litter that had been picked up through the various programs that the state offers. And the most littered item in Kentucky was actually beverage containers, followed by takeout and fast food litter, which obviously driving around you all can see that those are out there a lot. The 7 sources comes from a organization called Keep America Beautiful, and that's a nationwide organization that helps communities with reducing the amount of litter that's in their cities, helps them with beautification projects, things like that. And Lexington just became an affiliate of this, so we now have a Keep Lexington Beautiful Commission that I'll talk about in a couple slides. But these are just the 7 sources that litter normally stems from. Pedestrians, drivers who are throwing cigarette butts out the window, business dumpsters as well as trucks, things flying out of there. Loading docks and marinas can be a big problem. Construction and demolition sites, if they're not properly keeping things down, windy, rain, things like that, a lot of stuff can wash off of a construction and demolition site. And then also household trash can be scattered. And litter can be a huge problem for water quality as well. 18% of litter materials end up in the water, and this especially happens in Kentucky when we get large rains. When we had the rain earlier this week, I mean, you can just see the litter traveling down into the storm drains. So that gets into our streams and creeks, which can cause huge problems for marine plants and animals, causing suffocation of them because it reduces the amount of oxygen in the streams. So what are some things that you guys can do? Shelby's getting ready to hand out some litter reporting cards to you. Bluegrass Pride has a program that we started quite a while ago, and we worked with the Environmental Commission with the City of Lexington to start it. So if you're out driving around and you see somebody throw out a cigarette butt, you know, an apple core, you know, their lunch container or anything like that out of their window, you can call Bluegrass Pride, or you can also log on to our website. And we need their license plate number, a description of the car, so it can just be a black, you know, Ford or something like that, just a brief description. A location, which what we really want is an intersection, what intersection you're closest to, so Man o' War and Harrodsburg or something like that. And then the date and time that it occurred. So what we do is we then compile these every month, and we send them to the Fayette County Police Department, and they send a letter to the person's house and lets them know that someone caught them littering, why it's a problem, and that if a police officer had caught them, it could be a $500 fine. So just kind of letting people know that you are being watched and not to do that in the future. And we actually tested this in the office a couple years ago, and Esther filled one out for her car, and it got sent to her house, but it got addressed to her husband's name. And so he's like, someone caught me. He was like, I don't litter, I don't litter. And so Esther had to tell him that they had filled one out in the office, but it got sent to his name. So they do follow up, and the letters do come to the people. There's also pocket ashtrays that I think there's some over there as well. So if you know people that smoke, or if you smoke, you know, making sure to keep this with you and put the butts in your pocket ashtray instead of throwing them out the window, and then dumping them in the trash whenever you get a chance. And we've also got some more at Bluegrass Pride if you guys are ever interested. Also organizing a cleanup event. Again, we can help provide gloves, bags, and we also have safety vests as well. So if you guys are ever doing a roadway or anything like that, and we help, you know, Scouts, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, things like that do it. So we give them safety vests all the time as well. Another thing to do is to report illegal dumping. If you ever see any illegal dumps, and this is actually a number statewide, so it doesn't have to be just Fayette County. If you see people dumping illegally, you can call 888-NO-DUMPS and report that. And it's basically some of the similar information that you have to give for the litter reporting card, where it is, things like that. So back to the Keep Lexington Beautiful Commission. So So I guess it's been 2 months now since the commission's been formed, and they've got representatives from the city, from code enforcement, the police department. They've also got representatives from Lexington's tourism. They've got business representatives, people from Keeneland, things like that. So there's a lot of people that are kind of stakeholders in making sure that the city stays beautiful. So they will work on litter prevention here in Lexington. They'll also work on beautification projects. Graffiti removal is something that they work on. And through this program, they'll also have access to grants as well for Lexington to help work on litter reduction. And this year, one of the programs that Keep Lexington Beautiful will work on is the Great American Cleanup. And in the earlier session, they were mentioning that you guys do participate in that by having a neighborhood yard sale and then doing a cleanup as well. Lexington is the commission is shortening the time frame where they're working on the Great American Cleanup this year. Unfortunately, they are working on it starting March 1st and going through May 31st is when they're kind of focusing in on it. So that was something to think about in the future. But on the website, on the city's website, they're going to have a list of all different kind of cleanups that are going to be going on in the city throughout those couple months if you guys are interested in getting involved in any of those. And one thing that Lexington had to do to become a part of Keep Lexington or Keep America Beautiful was a litter survey. So members of the city as well as Bluegrass Pride had to go out and drive different parts of Lexington in 2009, and they had to score the area. They drove around a couple different streets in each area, and they had to rank it on a scale from 1 to 4, 1 being they didn't really see much litter at all, 4 being it was pretty bad. And our overall score was 1.39, which is not bad at all. Some of the most littered areas included this. This is Southland Drive, Nicholasville, Harrodsburg Road area. The overall score here was 1.77, so this is one of the highest areas that had one of the areas that had the most litter. This was also pretty bad. This is Tate's Creek Road running through here, and then we've got Man o' War and New Circle up here. So that was 1.91, which I think was the overall worst area in Lexington. Also downtown was fairly bad. It had a 1.70 score. Some of the least littered areas, this is out in the Beaumont area. That's Beaumont Circle out there. They had a 1.17, so they did pretty good. And this is Nicholasville Road going towards Jessamine County, right along the edge of our county right here. And that had a pretty low score of 1.17 as well. And then this is your area. And I pulled the wrong slide on the earlier presentation, but I got the right one here. This is Leestown Road running out. There's New Circle. So we're right in this area right here, which is section 8. And you all got a 1, so that was very good. So that means hardly any litter they saw as they were driving around. The overall score for your whole area in here was 1.41, so you guys were kind of in the middle of what most Lexington ranked. And I think the 7 and 9 also were about 1.2 or something like that, so overall you guys did very well. But they're going to keep doing these now every year since we are a commission. So you all will be able to see if you stay a 1, and hopefully you won't go any higher, because 1 is the best score you can get. And the last 2 things I'll quickly talk about is lead paint and radon, or our lead paint and radon. And I'm not an expert on this, but just wanted to give you guys some information as to where you could go to get some more information on it. Lead-based paint is in houses that were built before 1978. So if you live in a house that was built before then, it's a possibility that you could have lead-based paint in your home. And if it's in good condition, it's usually not a hazard for you. But if you decide to do any work in your home and it was built before 1978, or if any of the paint starts to chip or anything like that, that's when some concern should be raised. And you can visit, Lexington has a page, lexingtonky.gov/lead-free-kids, or also the EPA.gov/lead has some great information. So if you are going to start doing any kind of construction work or anything in a house pre-1978, you should probably get your house tested to make sure that you don't have lead-based paint in there. And if you do, then there's some rules that you have to follow if doing construction. So that's something to think about in this neighborhood. And the other thing to think about is radon. And I pulled this map off of the EPA's website. And as you can see, the red zones are zone 1, which means they have the highest level of this picocuries per liter, which is the highest level possibly of radon in in the country. So Fayette County is a red zone. So you can get, again, I would recommend going to the epa.gov/radon site. You can get test kits in your home, so you can see, you can actually test to see what your level is in your house, if you need to be concerned or not. And then, you know, if you do need to be concerned, again, there's people to contact, and you can go through this website to find them. Question.
Yeah, I actually went to the Home Depot to try to pick up one of those radon kits, and they only had one type, and it didn't have a send it in lab kit. So I'm wondering where you might be able to pick up one that would have a send it in lab kit.
Right. Did you check Lowe's? I don't know if they might be an alternative to check. I would go on this radon site, because you can click on Kentucky once you get to that, and then it lists a lot of different contacts under there, and numbers that you can call that would probably be able to help you out to find a send back kit. Yeah, good. Unfortunately that's my best answer for you. But yeah, I mean, the website did have some good information on it, and it said that each city should have a radon representative as well, so that you can probably call someone in Lexington who can help you out directly. So that's radon, and that is basically my presentation. If you have any questions, or if you ever need bags or gloves for a cleanup, or if you're interested in checking out any of our energy or water use audit kits or anything like that, feel free to shoot me an email, and we can check those out for you. And then I've got paint crystals up here, and I've got some more in my bags. I've also got, if you guys are interested, we've got lids. We work on a program related to fats, oils, and grease, and how to properly dispose of them. And then we also have these lids that will fit on like an old soup or bean can or something like that. So if you are keeping your grease, so instead of pouring it down the drain at home, you can keep it in an old soup can. This lid will fit on top of it. You can keep it in your freezer or on your stove or whatever, but we've got these for you guys to take home as well.